So what if that friend who always seems to cancel plans isn't flaky or, boring? What if they're actually a master of self-preservation? Today, we're going to dig into the real psychology behind why some of us find our greatest joy, our greatest comfort, right at home.
Oh, you know this person. We all do. Or hey, maybe you are this person. The one whose default answer to "wanna go out" is always a polite, but let's be honest, a very firm "maybe next time." Well, we're going to figure out what's really going on there.
And look, it is so easy to take that personally, to think, are they avoiding me? But what if it's not about avoiding you at all? What if it's about protecting something really essential inside them? That's the big question we're diving into.
Okay, let's just get this out of the way right now. Society has a word for this kind of behavior, right? Boring. But you know what? Science has a completely different and frankly, way more interesting explanation.
So let's totally reframe this. For so many people, staying home isn't about running from life. Not at all. It's about recharging for life. It's like the necessary pit stop you have to make so you can actually fuel up to deal with, well, everything else.
To really get this, we need to talk about a concept you've probably heard thrown around, but maybe not in this specific way. It's this idea of a social battery, and it's actually a super powerful metaphor for how we handle our energy in social situations.
See, the real difference is all about where you plug in to recharge. Extroverts, they plug into the world. The noise, the people, the action, that's what fills their battery up. But for introverts, it's the exact opposite. Socializing, even when it's genuinely fun, is what drains the battery. And for them, home, well, that's the only charger that really works.
And listen, this isn't just some fluffy concept. There's real science to back this up. It's something called optimal arousal theory. And all that really means is that some people's nervous systems are just built differently. They don't need a loud party or a huge crowd to feel good. A quiet room, a good book, that's their sweet spot. It's not a choice, it's literally just their wiring.
But it's not just about energy management. It goes even deeper. For a lot of people, home is also a sanctuary. It's this place of control in a pretty chaotic world. And it's a space where creativity can actually finally flourish.
I mean, just think about the difference for a second. The world outside, it's totally unpredictable. It's loud. But at home, you control the lighting, you control the sounds, the pace, everything. And for anyone who deals with anxiety or is just a highly sensitive person, that control, that's not a luxury. It's basically a survival mechanism.
And here's what I think is the secret superpower in all of this. Staying home isn't just doing nothing, Research actually shows that solitude, that's where some of our absolute best thinking happens. It's where creativity sparks, where we solve those tricky problems, not in some crowded, noisy bar, but in the quiet of our own space.
Okay, now we do need to make a really important distinction here. Because for some people, staying home, it isn't a choice they make for peace. It's a reaction that comes from a place of fear.
Yeah, for anyone dealing with something like social anxiety or trauma or depression, home can feel like the only safe place on earth. But it can also, over time, become a cage, something that cuts them off from the world. And that is such a crucial difference to be aware of.
So, this is the question to ask yourself, really. When you stay home, is it something that fills you up? Does it recharge you? Or is it because the very idea of leaving just feels overwhelmingly heavy? Because one of those is choosing peace, and the other is hiding.
All right, so for all of you out there who genuinely find your peace at home, let's circle back and reframe this whole thing one more time. This isn't about missing out. It's about being wired for something completely different, something deeper.
There's even a psychological term for this. It's called a low stimulation preference. And it's just this simple, powerful idea that you don't need the world to constantly entertain you, because your own inner world is already rich and vibrant enough. It's plenty to keep you engaged.
And that brings us to maybe the most important takeaway here. Choosing a quiet life. Picking a night in with a good documentary over a loud night out. That's not sad. It is not something to be pitied. It is a sign that you know exactly what you need. That, my friends, is powerful self-awareness. So, does any of this sound familiar? Like finding genuine, actual joy in the really small things. Your morning coffee, that perfect spot on the couch. Or how about turning down an invitation, not with guilt, but with relief, because you want to? See, that isn't a sign you're broken. It's a sign you're wired for depth over noise.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about.
What does a best life actually look like anyway? Is it all about performance, about how much you do and how much you post? Or is it about peace, about how you really feel? Is choosing that peace a valid life choice, or is it just a good excuse? That's a question only you can answer for yourself.